I usually start this show off hoping that a message about suicide prevention can save a life. And I often talk about bullying and other different things that relate to it, depression and mental illness and a host of other things. And today, I'm overcome with emotion because today of all days, a day where I was hoping to get back to a level of normalcy after losing a friend, Jim. And today is the day that there is no rest. A school shooting happened again. It happened again. And this time it happened here in Michigan. And if you have not heard, 8 people have been shot. 3 students are dead, aged 17, 16, and 14. And as a father myself, I don't think I've held my sons as tight as I did. I don't think there's words that I can offer to the community of Oxford. I don't think it's possible for me to find the right scripture. I'm just not sure what to do. I can offer condolences. I can offer words of encouragement. But the fact of the matter is 3 students lost their lives. Parents will have to bury their children. And it happened again. In the order of life where children bury parents, we're finding ourselves too often having to bury our own kids. And the questions of how could this have been prevented will never be truly answered. But here's what I know. I know that a 15-year-old walked into a school, used a handgun, let off between 15 to 20 shots, and took the lives of 3 children. I know that I watched on TV in real time as parents walked up to a school anxiously waiting to see if their child walked up out that school. And while many parents were greeted with hugs and tears and fears, somebody is planning a funeral. We have to be better. We got to do better. I can't give you a positive message. I'm going to still talk sports, but I can't give you a positive message other than we have to be better. Now, I like to try to provide a distraction, but I'm going to deliver the same message. If you are thinking of harming yourself, if you are thinking of harming someone else, please don't. Reach out and get help. If for some reason, some odd reason, nobody wants to listen, I will. There are people in this chat. I've seen this community. It is something special. There's somebody in this chat that you can simply say, hey, I need to talk to you. They will listen. Know this, that on days like this, we have to be better. And on days like this, we have to hug our children, hug our brothers, our sisters, our mothers, our fathers, hug the dog. I don't care if you got a goldfish. Find a way to let them know that you love them. Because tomorrow's promise is not for everyone. Tomorrow's promise is a figment of our imagination. And again, we have another school shooting here in Michigan. So, I'm going to talk football because I got a lot to cover in a short period of time. I thought I was going to be able to just have some reprieve, and it's not going to happen like that. But if you are one of the people who are in Oxford, my condolences and prayers are with you. If you are one of the parents who enjoy my show and you come back and you listen to this, and your child made it out, I'm praying with you. And if your child didn't make it out, I'm crying for you. And I'm crying with you. And I am praying with you as well. Let's talk some football, people. We gotta talk some football. Well, Pride Nation, like I said, I always start the show off a certain way. And today's a little bit different. And it sucks. It really does. It sucks to high heaven because I think we get into this football thing too often and we lose sight of what's important. We miss the most important parts. And I think when you miss those parts, you often ask yourself what to do now. So it's rough. It's rough. Again, so I was excited, people. I really was. This morning, as I'm out working, and I hear the news that the Lions released defensive tackle Deshaun Hand, I literally yelled out, "About damn time!" I was too excited. I was beyond myself. Not that he lost his job, because that's just out cold. But I was beyond myself at the fact that, one, he's gone, because when you can write something that says, oh, this person has missed more games than he's played. And I questioned this earlier in the season. I said, follow the money. Okay? I said, follow the money. And I saw that you got a lot of money if you release this guy. And when he made the 53-man roster, it was the most confusing and baffling thing I've ever seen. I mean, I could have named at least 3 other people who should have been on the 53. Tim Boyle should not have made the 53. Deshaun Hand should not have made the 53. You had no problem saying, you know what, Perryman, huge mistake. You didn't see it with these other people. Why not? And I'm like, yo, this is where we're supposed to be. This is how it's supposed to go. We're supposed to be able to enjoy smart decisions. And so at the end of the day, I was excited. But then something strange happened, people. Something ironic happened. Dr. Detroit, I'm sorry to hear that. That's rough, man. But like Juan, I was sick of Deshaun Hand too. Never did much from day one. And you know what's funny about this, y'all? My happiness turned into anger. And the anger came about because it made me wonder, what was the straw that broke the camel's back? What about your coaching staff or your management group thought that, you know what, Deshaun Hand's a valuable piece? Think about the people who we could have had on our team if you had to cut him earlier. Seriously. And it is not like he was healthy. He was hurt. He was always hurt. In fact, he got in the game, made a play, and I said, oh, shit, Deshaun Hand playing? And then got hurt. And we was right back to square one. And it got me to thinking, who are players that at the last 6 games come down to the wire? Who are those players that's still on this roster should be cut? Who are they? I don't even understand why they placed him on IR. You should have been gave him his settlement and told him good riddance. But I got pissed because when you could have capped the running back Reynolds. You could have capped so many other people who performed that you didn't keep. You could have capped one of those receivers who was fighting for a spot that went undrafted. You could have capped one of those guys. And instead, you held on to a guy who was always hurt. He's always hurt. Then I said, you know what? I'm not going to kill him for making a move that I'm happy about, but I am going to kill him for the time it took. And now I'm thinking, when the hell is Austin Bryant going to get the X? Like, I'm not trying to be funny. Look at this defense. They're overachieving like a hell right now. Who in the hell should be still on this team? Like, if you look at it right now, piece by piece, money by money, who should still be on this team? There's no one who should be on this team. He says, is Austin Bryant hurt again? Listen, no, but he's not performing up to par. Another person that I'm not understanding why we still got is Jason Cornell. What are you waiting on? What is he supposed to do? I'm not being funny when I say this. I'm asking you in Pride Nation, why are they holding on to him? He was a super late round pick, super hurt. What are they expecting to get out of him? We got some people that gotta go. And the reason I'm starting it with this is because I believe I understand why the Lions are not winning games. Now, if you look at my thumbnail, you know I got to talk about Anthony Lynn. And many people are treating Anthony Lynn like a garbage bag. They just putting all of it in there. All the faults of this team falls on this guy. But let me just bring something to y'all attention, okay? In the world of logic, at a time where things should make so much sense, let me just bring something to y'all attention. Anthony Lynn, I'm not so sure it's the damn problem. I'm not. And a question came up that was on the Thanksgiving game, and I believe it was Troy Aikman who said this. He said the play calling under Dan Campbell got worse. And I was like, but did it? Did it? Really? So it got me to thinking. Did it truly get worse under Anthony, under him? And should he give it back? And I'm going to tell you the truth. Nope. Let's be honest, people. When Anthony Lynn was there, and it's clear, the Lions can downplay all this talk all they want. They can say whatever they want. But the truth is this. He just doesn't believe in the quarterback. He doesn't believe in the idea of Jared Goff being his guy. He doesn't believe in it. And it don't make sense to me. Now, the part of it that jumped out to me the most was the fact of how everybody acted like this the first time they heard of this. Like the head coach, Jared Goff. The only one who didn't deny it was Anthony Lynn. Everybody else is, no, we never heard anything like that. Where's this source at? But when I look at Dan Campbell, I just ask questions. Was it the right game plan? Simply put, was it the right game plan? And I got to be honest, since he took over the play calling, they were the right game plans. And yes, there's people who have said that the Lions have had a bad season because of poor coaching decisions. That's not true. Oh, absolutely not. That's not true. It's not true. In fact, I'm getting ready to put a poll up. Because I really need to know the answer to this question. I'll ask you in here, but I'll also ask you to go to my poll on this channel and answer the question, okay? Because this is important. Go through each game the Lions have played thus far, all right? Each and every single game the Lions have played thus far, okay? And I want you to tell me why they lost each one of those games. Because to my count, only one game they lost was because of coaching decisions. And that was what happened on Thanksgiving. The rest of it, not on the coach. Right? I want to know, game by game, why did they lose that game? Because to me, it's obvious. First things first, in game one against the 49ers, I put that game solely on Jared Goff. I highly, highly doubt that He was told to throw the ball 25 to 100 times behind the line of scrimmage. Now, this is a very good question right here from Doug Prince. It says, Luke, if he doesn't believe in golf, then why Dan supporting golf and not running blind? And I'm going to tell you why. I don't think Dan Campbell believes in Jared Goff, and I don't think Lynn believes in Jared Goff. But what I do think is they are sitting there saying, you know what? Who gives us the best chance to win? All right? And to me, it's one of them things where it's like, look, I think it should not be a conflict. If I'm the offensive coordinator, you brought me in to do a job, and I got to fight with running back coach about who should be my starting running back. This is a problem for me. It is. It's a problem for me. That's the equivalent to somebody being a very good painter in here, and then you get ready to paint, and here comes somebody trying to tell you what materials to use to paint. Now they're the painter, even though they want to hire you. And it don't make sense. So when you go and look at the way that the games are being called, the trust issues are definitely there. And 100%, Lions Rumble 81, there's a lack of talent. Not. See, I wanted you to feel good about yourself, but it's not. There's not a lack of talent. I'm sorry, there's just not a lack of talent. If a lack of talent don't hold teams to 16 points, 13 points. That's not a lack of talent. Are they young? Yes. Do they lack awareness? Yes. Is there an adjustment period? Yes. But when you got as many injuries as we have, you can't afford to make mistakes. And that's not a talent issue. It's just not. But I want you to just think about each one of these games and tell me how they lost. Tell me what was the deciding factor to account for these losing games. And I'm trying to really understand this. Because to me, this is not a problem that we're paying attention to. We somehow have taken what many of you in the chat have said to be a rebuild year. Where many of you thought that they were going to win 1 or 2 games. I've seen quite a few people talking about 0-17 before the season even started. And the only thing that y'all refuse to do is to admit that your frustration and your anger is a result of the fact that they could have won games. So game 1, in my opinion, falls on the quarterback. It just does. It falls on the quarterback. Game 2 against the Packers. A game where they came out and threw the kitchen sink. Game 2 comes out and, you know, they say, okay, we're going to do X, Y, and Z. They go up 17-14 at half, and then they forget that they can run the ball because now we want to go back to splitting carries. When your top rusher in this game is Jared Goff, we got a problem. So is that the play caller, Luke? Is that the head coach? It's the head coach. He got to tell the play caller what to do. However, the defense was horrible. It was terrible. It was absolutely atrocious. And they got up quick. And the offense was just as bad, not being able to sustain drives. We get to the Ravens. And the question becomes, who do you blame for this loss? The breath of God. Because when you kicking 66-yard field goals that need to not only clear the crossbar, but the entirety of it, and it bounces over, it is what it is. Now, I did put this off on the coach originally. And I still think that, look, it took a little bit of luck to do it. Because I do believe that if they were more aggressive at the 3-minute mark, that the Ravens never get the ball back. Then we get to the Bears game. And injuries caught up on this one. It really did. But what I saw that doomed us in this game was the quarterback. Just not willing to throw the ball down the field. And when you get to the Minnesota game, you can keep going piece by piece. But for me, Minnesota was another one of them games where it was just not the right game plan. The Bengals, we got beat. It just is what it is. You were slaughtered, you were destroyed. The Eagles slaughtered and destroyed. And the thing is, we don't talk about this. The Rams game, defense got to be able to hold on long distances. So from right here, a lot of it was going down to the wire here. Pittsburgh, I blame the damn kicker. If he can hit the field goal in overtime, game over. If he can get the extra point, game over. But when you are only giving up 16 points, you should win the game. Cleveland, you didn't run it enough. Oh, what you mean, Luke? You didn't run it enough. Even the game against the Bears, you started the game off with Tim Boyle, who had just came off injury, and Jamal Williams, who had just came off injury. And you gave the ball more to them than you did everybody else. So for me, it boils down to this. Is Anthony Lynn about to become the scapegoat? Yep. I think Anthony Lynn is already aware that he's not coming back. In fact, if Anthony Lynn stayed, I would be more surprised and more shocked that he stayed. I would be shocked. Now, I just go through and I look at it. I made that same post. I want to see what people's thoughts are. But the reality is this. These games and the people who are going to get blamed for them is probably not going to be there. When I watched that damn game against the Bears, I got so mad because I'm like, why are we not running the ball early enough with Swift? Now that goes on Dan. But when Dan Campbell lost the game for me with the last seconds, 3 minutes on the clock, and you just let it go to the 2-minute warning. What are you thinking? When he tells the media there's no play for third and 32, and fans is like, try to get half of it back. This is not John Madden football. It's just not. I'm with you, Chris. This 2-back rotation is trash. And I kept bringing this up, and I was told that I'm making something out of nothing. And I kept telling people, go and look at the top Russian teams. Those top Russian teams are not doing this. They're not doing this, oh, let's split carries even. There's one primary back and there's relief. It just don't make sense to keep doing this. Now, what I can say is this. Here's what I can say. I think history might be on our side, people. And what I mean by that is, if you just look at history, and yeah, you may have to go a little bit back, but history may be on our side. You know, it may be on our side. Let's say the Lions win one game. Hell, let's say they win two. Let's say the Lions win 2 games. All right. And let's say we're looking at the last 6 games. All right. And let's say that the Lions mess around and let's say they beat Denver and the Falcons. Right? I honestly think that they're going to win this Green Bay game just by virtue that Green Bay is going to have everything locked up. They're not playing their starters. So just give that one an automatic win, in my opinion. I don't think they're going to play their starters, especially if they already got that first round bye locked up. They're probably not too concerned with it. But let's say they only get this one win. I looked at a lot of different teams, and I wanted to see who had scenarios very similar to ours. Now, there was 2 teams who had very similar scenarios to what we had, but one of them stood out to me. And that was the 1989 Dallas Cowboys. Now, many of y'all may be saying, well, Luke, you went back to 89. This is crazy. Yeah, I know. So this is Jimmy Johnson's first year as an NFL head coach for the Dallas Cowboys. They had just got a new owner in Jerry Jones. They go 1-15. So, but Luke, you can't say that because Jimmy Johnson coached college football. I know. Well, how are they the same situation? Well, I'm going to explain to you. So they go out and they go 1-15. And everybody is screaming, man, get this guy out of here. Send him back to college. And he's screaming to the new owner, hey, I'll make you a winner, but I got to get rid of your best player. And so they go out and they trade Herschel Walker. A huge trade. A trade that netted them a host of draft picks. And they say, okay. And they go out, and many people just thought that it was over for them. And I want you to see something, because the way they was getting beat was atrocious. Like, look at this. Like, this is 28-0. 27-0. 15-0. Like, they weren't even scoring in games, right? 30-7, 30-17, 31-13, 31-14, 36-28. Right? They start buckling up, but they giving up mad points. And they got multiple picks for Herschel Walker. And guess what? They made a few moves in free agency, and they turned it around to a 7-9 record. Now, Luke, I don't know why this is relevant. Well, it's relevant because the history helps me understand what direction it can go. Because the first thing that I remember about this particular team was they was young, they had a lot of injuries, and they got rid of their best players. Well, the Lions is young, has a lot of injuries, and got rid of their best player. Herschel Walker didn't ask to be traded. Stafford did. That's the difference. However, the trade still happened, and they still got first-round picks, right? So now that's 2 years. And I'm not saying it's going to follow this same order, but that's 2 years. They went from 1-15 to 79. Now, at this point, they don't fire a coordinator, right? And they go 11-5. 11-5. And they get all the way to the playoff, the divisional round, and get stumped out by the Detroit Lions 38-6. Now, notice they got a new offensive coordinator, which we're probably going to get a new offensive coordinator. The media said that Jimmy Johnson didn't know what he was talking about. They said the same thing about Dan Campbell. And I'm sitting here watching history. But the difference was, all of a sudden now, the margins for loss were getting slimmer and slimmer. The quarterback at the time, ironically, was Troy Aikman, who came in and did you're talking about 11 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. He would be considered the equivalent to a Jared Goff, even though Jared Goff is probably on his way out of Detroit. And I'm sitting here looking at all this history, and I'm telling you that as a Lions fan base, when I hear fans say things like, fire Dan Campbell, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. When I hear people say, oh, get this, and I'm thinking to myself, haven't y'all learned yet? You asked for wide receivers. You got 8 of them. I mean, let's be honest. People wanted Mike Williams. People wanted Charles Rogers, RRP. Right? They wanted this stuff. Every time they ask for something, they get it. And it don't pan out. So this is just ridiculous. This is what I'm talking about. You got to be more informed than this. Swift is not a 20-plus carry back. I can't begin to respond to stupid stuff. This is so dumb. I just don't see it. He's not a 20 carry back. Really? Where'd you get that logic from? Madden? Fantasy football? What is that's what I'm saying? The same fan base. This is the same fan base who wanted Amani Oruwariye gone. The same fan base who wanted Stafford gone and said anybody could take over at quarterback for us. Well, anybody's here. It ain't working out. This is dumb. This statement, not you, Don Burr. Not saying you dumb. But this statement is dumb. It's dumb. Who is it? How do you determine a 20 plus carry running back? How? How? How do you determine the 20 carry running back? This is dumb. He had 130 something yards on 14 carries. They could have easily gave him the ball another 6 times. They weren't doing this split back stuff. Like, what the heck? Most NFL running backs should be, if you are a legit 3-down running back, if you are a legit 3-down running back, it's no way I can't, Don, I know it's easy to be behind this screen and write some of this stuff, but God, this is just a dumb statement. I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry. I am sorry. Like, Jesus, that is, boy, that's terrible. I'm going to talk about that too, Tactical Puma. I'm going to talk about the USFL, where Detroit gets another team, the Michigan Panthers. I think we should be supporting that. Good grief. No, Jimmy Johnson made the best trade in NFL history. Jimmy went and got a Troy Aikman and everyone from Florida. Game over. Miami was on fire, and he knew all the talent from coaching at the U. Yeah. And he took 3 cornerstone pieces and had a quarterback because people think Troy Aikman is so great. But the real architect behind what they was doing was Emmitt Smith and that offensive line. Michael Irvin made Troy Aikman look good. I do like how we can see the growth of the youngins. I do too. I love that we can see people who will probably be 5th and 6th on most depth charts perform. AJ Parker, Jacobs, yeah. Do they got a lot to still learn? Yes. And it's going to get even better when they stop hanging around Okudah. Because the only person I ever seen have that much of a gap on any type of coverage is Okudah. It's ridiculous. Luke, I'm thinking about putting in a bet that the Lions won't get 2 wins. Talk me out. I think they'll get an automatic win with the Packers, and I think they'll get another win somewhere in there. But I just, I don't get it. Luke G need to study more, bro. Logic is ridiculous. First of all, it should be have. HALF, not half the time. But I get what you're doing. You say y'all should start a YouTube channel? Please do. I will 100% support it, and I will 100% promote it. He said I got a revelation. Well, okay. Well, I guess I will open it up right now. But yeah, I don't know. Man, look, that Packer game, if they already, he said, look, Lavish Life said they're not beating the Packers. But let me ask you a question, Lavish Life. Just indulge me. If the Packers have already locked up the first round bye, are they playing their starters? Chances is no. And if they're not playing their starters, we have a chance for them to just get out of there with an easy win because they can care less. They're going to have every backup in person that ain't been playing all season in the game. I'm just putting it out there. Could be wrong, but I just feel like the Packers game, they've been had things locked up. They're not going to care about, trying to get the win there. Now, if the Packers for some reason don't got it locked up and they really need that win, then yeah, we got a problem. But I think the Packers will have it locked up by then. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the link out there, and this is for people to join. All you have to do, people, is when you get in, use the same name as it shows on YouTube. That's all I'm asking. The same name as it shows on YouTube. Then, what I want to see after that is, it says you better upset the Vikings on Sunday. Greg, I know. I just don't think they're going to take us serious, bro. I'm sorry. Detroit's on Big Will in the building. What up, though? He said go blue. 100%. When Michigan go against anybody but Michigan State, I'll be right there rooting for them. What can we get for Swift, though? Hypothetically. Well, it's kind of a waste. It's kind of a waste. If you're trading Swift, then what's the point? Like, why would you trade the most explosive thing you have at running back just to try to go out and find another explosive running back? Don't make sense to me. So, don't make sense to me. Let's see. Again, the link in the description. If you want to join, jump in. We can talk about it. Yeah, they're going to bench everybody, bro. I'm telling you, if once they get this locked up, because you got to think, a lot of teams are starting to slide, and I just think it gets to a certain point. So, just 100%. Now, we got our first guest on, my man William Birch. What up, W?
How you feeling?
Hey, man, I'm here, man. I'm a little irritated with the news today about the school shooting, but I'm here. What you got for us today?
All right, so one thing that got me curious was you talking about DeAndre Swift's usage on offense.
Yep.
And I actually got me curious looking into Jonathan Taylor, Nick Chubb, Derrick Henry, and their snap count. You could even probably link Joe Mixon in on this. They're not really different. DeAndre Swift is averaging probably about 70-75% snap usage on a week-to-week basis. Jonathan Taylor, only a little more recently, has been hitting anywhere from 70 to 80 in the first half of the season. He actually didn't even really pass 60% usage. Derrick Henry, on the most snaps he ever got in a week was 81%. Nick Chubb has not gone above 60% snap share, which I found very interesting.
When you look at the running backs in today's game, because I love how all these people in here screaming "Go Blue." These the same people who was talking about high schools run the ball to death, but University of Michigan beat Ohio State doing what? Running the damn ball. And I'm curious, when you look at the Lions and how they were distributing the ball between Swift and Williams in comparisons to the other top runners, where's the nearest running back to their rushing percentage? Like, if you were to look at Jonathan Taylor, where's the nearest percentage to like Nyheim Hines or whoever they backup running back is? And the reason I'm asking that is because it's a huge problem with the Lions. And I agree with Joey 2 times. Swift gonna be gone when his contract up, because they're refusing to feature him. He's a good guy. Mixon gets 20 to 30 carries a game, but he's one of the few. Yeah, let's do the same thing.
Even Joe Mixon barely surpasses. Like, there's 1-2 games where he gets over 75% snap share, right? And like D Swift, I think it's the issue is more that we aren't prolonging drives. We aren't pushing our drives further and further. Like, when Derrick Henry's in the game, you're not really expecting a pass. So, of course, you're going to get more runs with him. God, why am I blanking? Nick Chubb. He's one of the best pure runners in the league. Of course he's going to get more carries when he's in the game. But I think with DeAndre Swift, he's such a dynamic receiving threat that they're also trying to get him involved in that. A lot of the third down, I mean, I don't want to talk about a second, third down long play calling because fucking Christ. I saw 2nd and 10. I was like, yep, it's a screen. 3rd and 11. Yep, it's a draw. And we punted after that. And I gave up.
But it should be a draw. And this is the thing that people don't want to talk about. I've seen in college games and in NFL games this past weekend, particularly in the Green Bay game, they called a draw on 3rd and 10. Like, I ain't hear nobody screaming about that.
But how many times have they done a draw on 3rd and 10?
It doesn't matter how many times.
But it does. Because
no, it doesn't. I'm gonna tell you why. It don't matter.
It attributes to a whole
No. And let me make sure I heard you right. Did you say snap count or carries total?
Snap count.
If I'd have heard that, William, I'd have been like, come on, bro. Because you gotta think snap count can mean I put a dude in to take a knee. That's a snap count. So, it doesn't.
I feel like that deflects because if you kneel, you still have 44 plays. Maybe 3 of them are on kneel, and we're the Detroit Lions.
Go and look at DeAndre Swift carries in comparison to any other running back in the league. Go and look at it. Look at it. Where does he rank as an individual running back carry wise? If you had to count the number of carries, I guarantee you he's not even in the top 20. And you talking about it does matter, but it don't, because you have a quarterback who's refusing to throw the ball longer than freaking 5 yards. And it is not like people not open. He's just refusing to do it. It doesn't make sense. And I'm just putting it out there.
In the modern NFL, I really don't see the value of me personally running 20 plus times in the game when, especially since, well, no, because you're also saying Jared Goff checks down like a motherfucker. Mm-hmm. That's part of the reason why he's in so many offensive snaps, because it's either going to him or Hawkinson on a check down. They're not having noticed that Jamal Williams, you never really see him getting the check downs.
Let me ask you a question. Do you remember when the Titans started to take off?
You mean when Derrick Henry started getting a lot of runs?
When the Titans started to take off. We're not talking about Derrick Henry. We're talking about the Titans. I don't want you to change the subject. I want you to tell me, do you remember when the Titans took off? Because when they took off, I hope you remember who their quarterback was. Before it was Ryan Tannehill. I hope you remember who their quarterback was. And then, if you do, even if you Google it, you will see why the Titans have always and forever will stick to the run. Because they can't pass too often. And when the run becomes so deadly that they are able to pass, then they do. But when you look at the Lions, no one, and I mean no one, and that's fans included, have ever made claim or made excuse or even came possible to saying that, this guy right here is a good passer. This team can pass the ball. Nobody is lining up to stop the pass. Hell, they're daring you to pass it.
Okay, question.
Yeah.
How many times this season has DeAndre Swift ran for more than 4 yards a carry?
What does that matter?
Well, that's why Derrick Henry gets those carries.
No, it's not.
5.2, 4.0.
No, it's not.
4.4.
And I do. I'm gonna tell you why I love William, because William would come to the debate ready to have some stuff behind him, and I respect people who come to the debate with something to have behind them, because it makes for a good conversation. But let's look at the facts here. Let's just go down the list. All right. Lamar Jackson, the quarterback, got more carries than our running back. Let's see. Who else out here? Jalen Hurts got more carry than our running back. The rookie, Elijah Mitchell, got more carries than our running back. Oh, sorry, more yards. Let me go back up to the carries. I'm on the wrong one, y'all. Y'all gotta forgive me. Let me put it right here. Here go the carries. All right. So we're just looking at carries. All right. Mark Ingram got more carries than our running back. Jonathan Taylor got him. Joe Nick. Let's just go down the list. Devin Cook, how many games his ass has been in? Got more carries. Right? Let's keep going. James Connors got more carries than our running back. Like, why is this? Why? Why? The rookie got more carries than us. Look at this.
So here's my question to follow that up with.
Go
How
ahead.
many total offensive snaps had their offense had? Because I
Well,
guarantee
now you want me.
because the Cardinals, on average, I guarantee you have more offensive snaps per game than the Detroit Lions. So when James Conner has more carries, well, shit, they have more chances to give more.
That's a
carries.
real convenient. That's a real convenient excuse you give there, because now instead of you trying to see that's not how. If you want to do the offensive snaps, then let's talk about offensive snaps, right? Like let's just, if you want to go down the list of offensive snaps, then you have to tell me where to find offensive snaps. But I can tell you where is that on here, right? I can tell you where is that on here. Right here. Your thing is, he's got 69% of the snaps.
Here, Luke, I'm going to send you a thing that gives you plays per game.
Oh, you can send it. Well, you can share it on the screen if you got it on your screen. I can always share it if you just do the share feature. But what I'm saying is this: this man has started 3 games, bro, in 2021. 3 games he started. He's played in 11, but he's only started 3. Go and look at all the other people and help me understand why he's not getting more carries. Help it make sense, bro. And if you really broke it down game by game, I think it'd be very telling on a lot of these numbers. Like if I were to go through and be like, okay, let's look at the game logs for 2021 for DeAndre Swift, right? And I'm breaking this down, and your whole argument is, according to you, is how many times does he have 4 yards of carry? Well, how many carries does he get in the game? Against the San Francisco 49ers, he had 11. More carries went to Jamal Williams. And the offense is not more explosive with Jamal Williams. Against the Packers, 8 carries. Against the Ravens, he had 14 attempts, which is another thing I have a problem with, because most of our running backs barely break 14 carries. I think Jamal Williams had 15 on Thanksgiving Day. But then again, 8 carries against the Bears. 8 carries. They was using this man last year and this year like he theoretic.
But against the Bears, I looked up also Jamal Williams, that we were comparing apples to apples, because the guy they're putting him in for, 14 carries against Chicago, right?
Right.
Swift averaged 2 yards a carry. That's 16 yards. Jamal Williams averaged 4.7 yards a carry for 66 yards. Mm-hmm. The type of runs that these two players do are not the same runs. Swift is a great agile cutback. I really don't know how well he works in our system. I have not studied our system to the greatest degree to be able to be confident in that. But whatever, I know for a fact they run different type of runs with Jamal Williams versus DeAndre Swift. So whatever type of runs they're giving to Williams, obviously he's, yielding better results. But my main issue, I really don't think the Lions' issue is that they're not giving Swift the amount of carries he deserves or should be getting, or splitting it. I really don't think that's the issue. When you watch the Michigan game, when they pounded the hell out of the rock, I mean, I love the way they run.
How many times? Hold on. Let me answer this question. Mm-hmm. How many times did they run the ball in that Michigan game? Do you know? You can look it up. Look it up. Look it up. Look it up. I want you to look at how many times they ran the ball in comparison to how many times they threw it. Because you're talking about making sure that you protect the quarterback and that you protect the game in its entirety. Just look at how many times they ran the damn ball.
They ran it 39 times and threw it 20.
Okay. So they clearly didn't want the quarterback having to make too many passes. They wanted to keep the ball out of their hands, and they did it by running the ball. When you go over to DeAndre Swift and you go game by game, the first chance they give him to shine where they wasn't trying to pass the ball. Look at this BS. They passing it too much. He's not theoretic, bro. He's not Elvin Kamara. Run a damn ball. You wonder why people like Jonathan Taylor and why his guard got people with hats on that says run a damn ball, because it works. And when you come to games like this, he followed it right up after going 130 for 33 yards. And I had people like Joey 2 times saying it's not sustainable, because we talking about sustainability versus saying, why are we not running the ball in the first place? Clearly, the quarterback is not wanting to throw it for 5 yards. I might as well control the clock. And you come out the next game and get 14 carries for 136. He should have had 28 freaking carries right here in this game. And then what you do? You come out the very next game and start Jamal Williams. He gets 3 attempts and gets hurt. Come on,
I got a question
man.
for you.
Go ahead.
How does our offensive scoring differ from the rest of the season, though, while giving our running back 33 rushing attempts? It don't change our offense. The one thing I personally hate about...
Wait. What is your question?
We scored a total of 16 points in that game, rushing 33 times.
Mm-hmm.
That is basically dead average for all of our scoring all season. So I really don't see if you are getting the exact same result, maybe you try it one more time to see if that was just an anomaly. But I really don't see arguing for 33 carries a game when it still results the same amount of offense scored.
Well, let's go back. You're not getting the same result because you got your butt smacked here 35-17. And your leading rusher was Jared Goff. Right? And when you got when your leading rush or your longest run come from Swift, all of a sudden you win the game. And then you had a chance to keep running the ball with Williams. If they would have kept running the ball with Williams, if he was the hot hand, which is one of the things I complain about, they're not riding the hot hand. You end up getting smacked in that game by 10. Then you get a game against Minnesota, and you have a chance to keep them out of there. You couldn't do that. Right here, you never even stood a freaking chance. Not even close. Look at the numbers, bro. Take the first couple of games. I don't even care how you do it. Take the last 3 games they played. 44-6, 28-19, 34-11. And not in one of them games, not in one of those games was the leading back or the one who had the most touches, DeAndre Swift. The results is not the same. You're in these games. And even in this game, I think when Swift went out, they went, oh, yay. Let's get it. But even in these games, you're seeing in real time that there's a difference. And we can sit there and talk about how good the defense is and the scoring and all that other stuff. I get it. But it's even harder when your quarterback won't throw. Nobody is telling me Tim Boyles was fire in Pittsburgh. Tim Boyles, a guy who just came off IR, who sucked through preseason, gets to start over David Blau. Really? 77 yards. What was you expecting to happen? The only reason we were in the game is because we ran the ball. That's why I understand your point. When you go to the Cleveland game, Tim Boyles. Yeah, that'll get it done. Come on, bro.
I also had an issue with what you said about the Cleveland game, how they you didn't like the pass run, how they did it. Besides the pass run, they had 23 pass, 23 rush. Besides, so they had 7 plays in the final drive of the first half. That was it was 2-minute drill. They had to pass. So take those 7 throws out of it. They had 10 rushes in the first half. That means they had 13 rushes in the second half and only 9 passes in the second half. And that was down by 13. So it was 13 rushes, 9 passes.
So hold on.
They're still having a more run heavy focus, but you're still saying that we should run more, and that's
100%. 100%. So let's reverse it. If we were to go and take a look at, say, the Colts, right? We were to go take a look at the Colts, and their quarterback ain't nowhere near as bad as ours, right? But if you were to go and look at the Colts, and you were to look at these games, and you were to look at the carries in each of these games for Taylor, what do you think you're going to see? Matter of fact, let's go take a look at Jonathan Taylor's stats. Then you'll understand where I'm coming from. All right? So we go and look at Jonathan Taylor's stats, right? And the first thing I want you to understand about Jonathan Taylor and the Colts is where the Colts are starting to understand that it suits me and serves me better to keep the ball in his hands. Now, first thing you're going to notice, right here, we go down, so I got to scroll down a little bit more. My apologies. Let me come on down. Where you at? The game by game part is the one I'm looking for, people. Because I don't know why y'all are so against I know why y'all are against the run, because y'all used to playing Madden and fantasy football, and it's not sexy.
No, I'm not against the run. I'm at Western Michigan. All we do is run in RPO. My issue is bland running. That's why I talk about Michigan in a high regard, because going against Michigan, they have GT counter, they have power, they have inside zone, outside zone, trap. I see in real time, I'm like, holy shit. It would be fun to run in there. But our offense, like I think last week, we ran a little different. And that was because Jamal Williams became the featured back because Swift got injured.
Well, let me just show you. This is Jonathan Taylor's thing. This is Jonathan Taylor's thing. D-Map Zoom, I see you, bro. Don't go nowhere. All right. This is 17 carries, 56 yards. They lost. Right? Opening season, we ain't going to trip. Right? 15 carries, 51 yards. They lost. All right, you know what? Big whoop. 10 carries, 64 yards. They lost. Right? And the more that they say, you know what, we're going to have to start ramping up these carries and keeping them going. They get a win against Miami. Okay. They get 15 carries again, 53 yards. They lose. And now you're starting to see when they're not able to run this ball, it's getting real suspect. Then he have a DeAndre Swift moment against Whack Houston. 14 carries, 145. They get the dub. 18 carries, 107. They get the dub again. Because now I got to account for the run. Now I got to treat this a little bit different. And you can also see it in the number of snaps too. What percentage of snaps they giving them. The numbers go up. They get mediocre right here. Go up, go up, go up, go up, go up. Because you know why? They understood the assignment. They come back out, 16 carries. They lose a close game to the Titans because the Titans outran them. And they didn't run Taylor early on. And I think Taylor fumbled in that game too, if I'm not mistaken. Or he recovered the fumble. All right. Now, the next game, they come back against trash Giants. Dogfight, 19 carries. They win. 21 carries against trash Jacksonville. They win. Buffalo coming to town. No way he's going to run the ball here. The man put up 5 TDs. 5. They threw the ball to him 3 times. Ran him 32. Came back the next week, gave him 16 carries against Tampa. And again, this is another one of the games where I said, yep, the coach lost it. Because when they got the ball back, they could have ran it to high heaven and they didn't. You have to run the ball. There is no ifs, ands, and buts about it. And if you think that, it's no creativity or anything to it, I respectfully disagree.
How so? What type of runs are we giving that are giving a whole different look for the defense to account for? What type of motions are we incorporating? How many counters? How many?
They motion quite often. They run a trap play quite often. And in terms of counters, they've ran that too. They've ran draws. They've done all those things. But at the end of the day, you have to understand what the strong suit of your team is. You're running the ball at the strong suit. And until the wheels fall off, ride it. Ride it. Nobody's ever said the Lions got a good passing game. Nobody ever said that. You never said it. I've never said it. Mike ain't never said it, even though he says our offense don't sustain drives and that hurts the carries per the running back. That's not what's been happening, Mike. There's been earlier games where they've been able to sustain the run and they just gave up, like the Packers game. They was running that thing on the 49ers, just gave up. In fact, I'm pretty sure I took a screenshot of this. I'm pretty sure I took a screenshot of this. I can tell you what it was at halftime in the Bears game. In the Bears game, at halftime, Jamal Williams had 10 carries. Swift had got knocked out the game at that point, had 3. So I said, you know what, let me, before halftime, get here. In the first quarter, Jamal Williams had already had 6 carries to my man Swift's 2 carries. And I'm thinking, why? I'm just saying. Just putting it out there. Let me bring my man D-Map Zoom in. D-Map, what's going on, bro?
Not much, man. What's going on with you?
Not much. I mean, we seem to have a disagreement between running the ball and passing. Have you ever confused this team as being a legitimate passing team?
No, not really. Passing was one thing we was always good at. It was just running the ball we needed to do some of because we kept being predictable.
And let me ask you another question. It says we
Oh, bless you. Okay.
Man, Jesus. We have more 3-and-outs than hookers in Vegas. Jesus. Oh my God.
Should we add live?
Whoa.
What's going on, Mike?
We may have more 3-and-outs, but if you ran the ball more often and sooner, you wouldn't have this problem. And when your quarterback was out, when you lost, no, he wasn't the problem. They just didn't run the ball enough. But when you lose your starting quarterback and now you decided the guy on IR needs to be the quarterback,
that didn't make no sense to me. Why didn't you try the guy Blau? The guy that actually played pretty decent football when he did was something for Stafford.
Golf can't. Oh my God. Okay. How many times have they? Okay. They have called deep passes and he just won't throw it down there. So even that pass he threw in the Bears game was 39 yards. You're like, yes, thank you. That's set up because of the run. That's set up because of the run. You see, they didn't go to it again because nobody was worried about it. In fact, they said, yep, you're going to have to beat us there.
I swear, golf. I can't wait till we finally get rid of him.
I'm just saying. What else you got for us, D-Mac?
I'll say not much, man. Just came to talk real quick. I actually got to leave in a minute to go check my food. After that, I'll be back. But I know it's the year. Where do you see us winning the game this season? At least one. If I at least one, I'll be happy.
I really think if Green Bay lock up their spot, they're not going to give 2 cares about that game. So I'm going to just pencil that one in. And then I think that you got a chance to beat the Falcons. And I think that you got a chance to beat Denver. You got a chance really to beat the Vikings if you can just run the ball.
I'll say you sure about Denver because some reason as of late they've been actually beating good teams.
Yeah, but you know what? The thing is with Denver, they so up and down. I think we can catch them at a bad time. It's possible. I mean, I've seen stranger things. But then again, like I said, this is one of those seasons where a lot of things is not what I thought it would be. I just don't understand a lot of things that I'm seeing in terms of this team. When we got Anthony Lynn, I got excited because I just knew we was running the ball. And the same thing happened when Matt Patricia was here and we got Scott Linehan. I'm thinking, we're going to run the ball. And each one of these coaches refuses to run the damn ball. And it's true. It's like, what are you doing? You have the running back. When they drafted DeAndre Swift in the second round, what's the point of you taking him in the second round if he's just going to be a backup complimentary back to everybody else? That don't make sense.
Yeah, that never made sense to me. What's the point of drafting running backs in the first place? You're not going to use them.
And then the first thing they want to bring up is, it's the play calling of Dan Campbell is horrible. But the game plan is right. So as much as you don't like how it looked, at least we were in those games. Go and look at what it was before that, when we wasn't running the ball, when we're not having opportunity to do it. Penalties is killing us. But that comes with age. We got a very inexperienced team, and penalties are killing us.
Yep. All right, I'll be back. Gotta check my food.
Yeah, I mean, 100%, man. Appreciate it.
William,
what else you got for me, man? I know you over there researching. I see your little fingers clicking and stuff. What else you got for me?
Well, I'm looking into the play-by-play drive sheets of all of the different games for that we have, and I'm curious to see. I don't know if there's an easier way to find this, but our first half, what we've done versus our second half. If I can figure out what we've done in the first half, like for instance, the Bears game, from what it looks like, about 66% of our all of our passing came in the second half while we were down.
Right, now, because you know why? You know why? Because they got down, counted fast and early, not taking advantage of turnovers and field position. I believe we won a turnover battle that game and lost it. And I think the last 3 games we probably won the turnover battle and lost them. Great field position, not getting it. We got people still talking about, oh, we lost this game here. And I'm like, no, that wasn't where we lost the game. You called it a third and fourth. What do you mean? What are you dialing up? You got freaking Myles Garrett and Jodavian Clowney on the other side. Yeah. Sit your quarterback who's trying to get 5 yards on a play. Yeah, come on. Come on. This is a young team. This is not a talentless team. They're competing. Talentless teams don't compete. They just don't. And the reality is this. For all the people who want Dan Campbell fired, for all the people who think that the play calling sucks and everything else, ask yourself this simple question. Are you more upset that we lost the game or upset that we had a chance to win the game and lost the game? Because if you admit to either one of them, you're admitting to the same thing I'm talking about. You're only upset because there was opportunity to win the game. It's just a matter of making a decision here and there. Now, that Bears game on Thanksgiving solely falls on the head coach. I'll give that to him cold-heartedly. But some of these games is Jared Goff's fault. Some of these games are the defense fault.
Personally, what do we have? Like 5 or 6 one-score games this season? I think it's 6.
I never even counted. But we can always take a look at it. I know that they got better after the fact. I mean, so you're talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. So
half our games have been one score. To me, that's at a flip of a coin. Like the NFL, like if we were to do those games over, probably wouldn't, like one score games could be at the flip of a hat to the other team. Like 90% of the time. It could have been one small play.
Yeah, but
that changed the whole game.
But these games, that is a sign of close for a reason.
Stuff. Oh yeah. But to me, that's fantastic sign for a team that is shit, does not have a lot of talent. The fact that we are still staying in these games, I am.
How do we not have talent, but we're competing with everybody? Like we're competing. We're competing with the Ravens. We're competing with the 49ers. We was competing with the Packers. The only game we didn't compete in was Cincinnati and the Eagles. And I think they just came in thinking it's an easy win. We competed with Pittsburgh on the road.
Cincinnati at that point was a 5-1. They were not an easy win.
Well, we can. The record can tell you that, but
I like Cincy right now.
I'm just showing you that if you go through and you look, they're competing because they're able to run the ball. Now, if you were to go through and you look at this Pittsburgh game, the kicker cost them that game. This Cleveland game, I just thought that you needed to truly do a little bit more running. If you go to the play-by-play on it, you will see some of the things that I'm referring to. But I'm just saying, if you just I went to the wrong damn thing. If you just look at the game itself, and you just look at this game itself, the Lions had a chance to win all of their games except for 2. But it's going to come with the opportunity of running the ball. That's all I'm saying. My man Greg Charlie in the building. I know he's finna come with some stuff. Greg, you finna be on some stuff. I see it already.
No,
oh Jesus.
No, you know what? This is the only thing I want to ask, because I'm only asking it because I'm kind of thinking like maybe somebody already might have said it, because it's kind of obvious. Don't you think it has something a little bit to do with the fact that they just simply don't want to run DeAndre Swift into the ground? Because I mean, we see how injured he is. We see how small he is.
You know
Have you ever seen?
I never heard nobody say that, but I do think you are hitting on something. I think that the idea that they don't want to run him into the ground, but I also look at it like this too. If the idea is don't run him into the ground, right? Like that's what they're saying, don't run him into the ground. Then you got to start to look at the other part of it too. He has been told, I'm a backup to Adrian Peterson, aged Adrian Peterson, and he's told I'm the backup to them. He's been told that I'm the backup to a free agent, Jamal Williams, and that he's basically relegated to being theoretic. And to me, if you're not running him and I'm him, I'm leaving. You're not even utilizing me. You took me in the second round and you're not even utilizing me. What's the point?
Well, yeah. I mean, like I said, I don't know if it's something that's going on with, Swift and his father and, the coaching staff and the training staff, where they just saying like, look, we obviously know he the number 1 back, but let's do it like this and let's take it easy. Because I mean, he keep getting hurt. Have you ever seen DeAndre Swift in person? Like, have you ever been around him or anything like that?
Yeah, when he was I seen him twice. Once was by accident down in Birmingham. I saw him down in Birmingham. I was like, oh, okay.
He's smaller than you think, right?
Yeah, but he compact though. You can tell he work out, but he's compact. Yeah. But Maurice Jones-Drew was small.
Maurice Jones-Drew.
Yeah.
How big was Maurice Jones-Drew? He's about 5'7".
7. Maybe. Maybe no, he went on 5'8". Ain't no way in hell. No. If Maurice Jones-Drew is 5'8", I'm Michael Jordan's son, and clearly I'm not him. We know this is to be a lie. I'm just saying. I think you could be right that they're trying not to run him to the dirt, but I also think at some point in time, if you don't run him, you're not using him, and I'm on my rookie contract. When it's up, why would I re-sign with you?
Well, like I said, it might be that type of relationship that he has with the coach, with Dan Campbell and those guys, and they just like, let's do it this way. You know what I mean? I think it was the purpose of them going out to get Jamal Williams, because Jamal Williams probably could start on maybe about 6 or 7 other teams. But the fact that he came here to back up DeAndre Swift. Like, I don't know if that's the
backup. He should be the backup because the offense is more explosive with DeAndre Swift. You have to admit that the offense moves different with DeAndre. In fact, when DeAndre Swift was in, even on Thanksgiving Day, the linebackers and everybody was like, wherever he go, I'm going. He my buddy. They put in Jamal Williams. They was motioning Jamal Williams, and they was like, oh, he over there. Nobody cared. Nobody was feeling threatened by him. And the other part is you got a quarterback who's refusing to throw the ball down the field.
Let's not even talk about
that's the other part. I'm just saying that's the other part of it. So if you already know that you're not going to win these games in the air, put the ball on the ground and run it.
Yeah.
If you go through and you look at the 91 team, look at the 91 Lions. We went all the way to the NFC Championship game. You is not finna tell me the quarterback was fired. You ain't finna tell me that. Eric Kramer was not lighting it up like that, bro. We not finna lie like that to people. But they ran that mud to death.
Yeah.
And they ran it off.
Well, I mean, so let me ask you something. I don't know if you remember. Who was the running back that they had out in Dallas? He was next to it was him, Tony Romo, and Dez Bryant. They were supposed to be like that
Marion
new
Barber, Tashard Choice, and Julius Jones.
No, it was another guy. He set the record.
You talking about
he ran him into the ground.
Latavius Murray?
Yep, that's his name.
Yes, Latavius Murray. I was
He set like a record, and they ran him into the ground. And then after that, I think they didn't want to pay him or something, and then he went somewhere else and he got hurt. He just couldn't get back healthy. So I mean, that's a thing, man. That's a thing. You know, you gotta be careful with these running backs because they taking punishment every time. So,
they are, but you know what the difference is though. If you look at, and I think I might still have the stat up. Let me find it. But if you look at the yards after contact on a lot of these running backs, a lot of them is already 4-5 yards up the field before they even get touched.
Yeah.
Before the first person lay a finger on them, they're already up the field.
Especially with a guy as fast as Swift.
Man, listen, all I know is this. There's a lot of people in this league, but teams are starting to understand what gives them the best chance to win. One of the reasons why the Bills started having to falling off was because the Bills were still sitting up there trying to pass with Josh Allen the whole game. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't help anything. You have to be able to say, okay, how do I get the most out of my team and get the win on top of it? If you're telling me, like in the Michigan game, I think dude, like he said, threw it 20 times. Yes, that should be Jared Goff. Jared Goff should be throwing it 20 times. You look at the game against the freaking the Browns. All them passes that was going on, they weren't getting nothing until they ran that ball. The Browns couldn't do nothing. The Lions was gearing up to stop the run, and then out of nowhere, they forgot how to tackle. And they ran it down our throat. And again, it's the right game plan. I don't just look at it and say, okay, you got to run the ball to be running the ball. No. When you look at these games, that was the hot hand. We ain't had a game yet where the hot hand was the quarterback. When that game come up, I'll say we should have rolled Jared Goff. We ain't had that. And it's been receivers open. People keep on saying these receivers ain't open. In the NFL,
they definitely get open.
They open. And even if they cover, let's say they tightly covered, sometimes you got to throw a person open. That's what makes you different. That's what makes you special. When you have people who can't throw a person open, who's afraid to throw the ball in traffic, it's a problem there. Now, did he do much better against the Bears? Yep. But guess what? The penalties killed us. And according to the head coach, we had six holding penalties. 3 of them was on the quarterback, leaving the pocket too early. So you have to start to look at that and say, how do I protect this quarterback who clearly is antsy and still get a chance to win? You have to run the ball. That's what you got all them running backs for. That game against the Bears, people don't realize this. You know who was in that game? Jamar Jefferson. Ask me how many carries he get. Why is he not getting more carries? Godwin, how do you pronounce his name? He was in that game. Why he wasn't getting no carries? You see what I'm saying? I'm not saying that you just run the ball to be running it. I'm not saying that. I don't think that's the case. I don't think that you need to run the ball just to be running it. But when I look at these games and I look at where our hot hand was, and you can see it right here. This is the last game on Thanksgiving. Jamar Jefferson played. How many carries he get? Where's his carries at? Meanwhile, over here, he wasn't getting 4 yards a pop. They were still giving him a damn ball. You can literally take out the runs of Andy Dalton and see that they were still trying to move the ball with the run.
Wait, but how like they had 39 pass attempts. How many rushing attempts total do they have here?
29.
29. We had 25 pass attempts.
And
19. It is about the same balance.
It is not about the same balance. And I'm going to tell you why it's not. You know why it's not about the same balance? Because this team right here started passing it more to get it to field goal range. This is why I was so ticked off at Dan Campbell, because I said, bruh, they're not even playing for a touchdown. They're playing for a field goal. And I can show you where it started in the fourth quarter. Because I remember at that point in the fourth quarter where I said, they're not even attempting to, they're not even attempting to do anything. So I want to say it was around the 8-minute mark. Let me get down to when we get to the 8-minute mark. I'm going to make this quick. I see he had the right here. So at this point, this is where everybody booed Dan Campbell and stuff because, God forbid you don't throw the ball deep. It's just like a punt, they say. Yeah, but the turnover can go a long way because everybody want to talk about throw the ball up. But, there's other athletes on the other side. Darius Slay ain't got 2 or 3 touchdowns for nothing. We're going to leave that alone. So it's 4th and 25. And at this point, it's 8:40. And I'm thinking, well, let's see what they do on the first play. And the first play they come out, they run the ball with Montgomery up the middle. And I'm like, they're not even trying. They're not even trying to it. 4 yards. Then it's 2nd and 6. He passed short. Now watch what they do on the next play. They run it off the right tackle. Again. And now you get 5. And they come back out. And he throw it again. And I'm seeing patterns the whole game, bro. This the pattern. They're playing for the field goal. Now, right here on 3rd and 5, which we shouldn't have got this damn defensive holding penalty, but whatever. We got the penalty anywhere it went. And you talk about a team, people want to blame the head coach, but they're using Will Harris as a slot corner. Put that in your pipe and smoke it, and think about that for a moment. But right here, I'm thinking, Dan, you got to call a timeout. Calm everybody down. We need this stop. Because at this point, it's been run, pass, run, pass, run, pass. So at this point, now they got a shorter distance. He passed it to the right. Then they try to test you. They throw it deep. Nothing happens. They went back to the run. And at this point, I'm still saying, damn, you got to burn these timeouts. Ain't no point in saving them. But then you get some more penalties. You get people injured, and stuff keeps happening. And so at this point, I said, yeah, we're losing this game, not because of a second timeout, because we didn't manage the clock from 8 minutes and 40 seconds. When if you look at our last drive before that, and this is really for you, William. I know you're gonna disagree, but look at our last drive before that. Short pass, run up the middle. 19 yards. Run again. Great. You get a false start from the center, which he did. Now it's 2nd and 12. Then here you go. Jefferson up the middle for 1 yard. Right? Then you come back down here. Jefferson off the left tackle for 6 yards. Penalty. Offensive holding. Now look where we at. They was licking their chops on this. He tried to throw it deep. Nothing there. He throw it short. He get what he can get. He punt. At this point, I'm with Dan Campbell. 8 minutes and 40 seconds, 2 timeouts and a 2-minute warning. I'm getting the ball back. Nobody's talking about that. Nobody's talking about how 18 plays, 8 minutes and 30 seconds was taken off the clock. Nobody's talking about that.
Well, that's just
my
good
problem.
play calling right there.
No, there's some penalties in there that kept us alive. That's my point.
But even so, like they got an 18, like they drained literally over half a quarter off the clock, like because they knew they couldn't, like they get a field goal and then they just give it back to us, like so they have their only option is to whittle us down.
But
because they know they can stop us.
This is my point I'm trying to make to you. Everybody is talking about the 2 timeouts and the 2 minute. What about the 8 minutes and 30 seconds that he had to make calls to get them on the right play? What about that time? What about the time when it's 3rd and 5 and he got an opportunity to get him off the field? I go to another game and show you. Because the exact same thing, similar, but it's not clock management. It was just a poor play call, in my opinion. The right play call, but just poor execution, I should say. Where they could have put this game away if they get the first. They didn't. They ran the ball to keep it safe. And they should have threw it then. These games are coming into a place where we would be better off running the ball. Every game, even the Bears, I think the Bears was like really bad against the run. Right? I could be wrong. Greg, correct me if I'm right or wrong on this. The Bears was not very good against the run.
No, not going to the game, they wasn't.
Okay. So if the Bears was not good against the run, y'all help me make it sense. 19 carries. Make it make sense, people.
I'm not trying to. I know it didn't make sense. I knew it wasn't making sense when I was watching the game. So
because you understand that at some point you're able to do certain things. You won
But
the
Swift
turnover
did.
battle.
When did Swift get hurt? That was the second quarter.
Yep, second quarter. I knew at that
Yeah,
point we was in
so
trouble.
yeah, that's when I remember that part. I think we probably would have had a lot more rushes if he not got hurt. But you know,
And another untimely thing that we got to point out was that fumble that Jared Goff had. See, y'all, everybody wants him to drop back and throw deep, but then they want to say the offensive line sucked. Which one is it? If you believe the offensive line sucked, then why are we dropping them back to throw deep? See, y'all can't have it both ways. You can't.
yeah, I don't think I just think that he should be throwing the ball deep more often than what he is. But like you said earlier a
He
few
has
minutes
to.
ago, he's scared to throw the ball downfield. You know, I mean, but I kind of saw this coming.
Like I said,
So.
I thought he would be a game manager. I thought he was going to be Troy Aikman. I really did. It was something that I pushed for the longest time, and I said he's going to be Troy Aikman, manage the game, and get out. That's what I'm like. He ain't going to be asked to do all these passes. They came out and did him like Stafford. I was like, yo, this is not going to work. He didn't even get to a Super Bowl. When he made it to the Super Bowl, half the people that's in here came into this chat and told me even Jared Goff got to the Super Bowl before Stafford. I said, yeah, they ran their way to it. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, you're crazy, Luke. Yeah, okay. What do you do without that run game? I told people, I said, look, I'm a Seattle Seahawks fan as well. Russell Wilson ain't done crap without a rushing attack. Now he talking about he won out of Seattle because he don't like Pete Carroll. I just go by history. I go by what happens on the film. And the history tells me that. I'm just saying.
Yeah. They lost the Super Bowl. Because they didn't want to give Marshawn Lynch that MVP. Let's keep it a buck.
You know what it was? He was trying to get more money, and they was trying to diminish his need for more money by making the quarterback the hero, and it failed. It failed. It was nobody. To this day, I would go to my grave believing there was nobody who was going to stop Marshawn Lynch from getting that touchdown. But this is what happened when you
at the
get
2-yard line.
You know who gonna stop him, bro? That's like Derrick Henry. Who's stopping him? Jerome Bettis, Earl Thomas. Who's stop? Come on, bro. Who's stopping him? Nobody. Yeah. Mike Allscott at the 1 yard. Good luck. Yeah. That's all I'm pointing out. I'm not saying William is nuts. I like that he came prepared, but I also don't want him to just look at snap count percentages and say, well, they're the same. They're not. Our guy is getting the ball at a way lesser rate game by game than these other guys. And that's the truth. And when you go through and you compare those same numbers, if you work, because Derrick Henry at first was the number one running back. And if you look at those numbers, it's
Swift.
Keep running the ball.
Is Swift coming back?
They said that he's coming back this season. I saw one report that said that he was going to miss this game, and I saw another report that said he was going to play. So I'm not sure.
He had a sprained shoulder. We're not really doing anything. I'd rather have him sit.
Yeah, then in that case, you're basically telling him he's gone. He wants to play. He wants to win. He wants to be a part of the process. You have to let him play. You just got to find a better way of being able to have a primary back and sprinkle in everybody else. That's the difference.
I'm so worried about.
I feel like this is going to lead to the exact same issues he's been having. Is that he will be underutilized because he has a bad nagging shoulder right now.
Well, you know
what?
We're
going to have that exact same conversation, I feel like.
Well, I'll tell you what. If he's hurt, he's hurt. But guess what? You kept Jay Sean Cornell for all these years, and what he been doing? You kept Deshaun Hand, what he been doing? They got more utilization than he did. I'm just saying.
That's factually not true.
That's not?
Deshaun Hand did not get more utilization than DeAndre Swift.
Go look at Deshaun Hand. Go look at Deshaun Hand. Go listen. Look at. No, listen. We're not talking about snap count. I said go look at Deshaun Hand's utilization. In other words, that when it came time for them to have to put a guy in and utilize him on crucial downs, he was brought in. Deshaun Hand just always stayed hurt, but as soon as he was healthy, he was always inserted back into the lineup immediately with opportunity to play. When DeAndre Swift was perfectly fucking healthy, they was like, you know what? We got Adrian Peterson. We just gonna let you sit here for a minute. And they had a host of other people playing ahead of him. If you go and you look at it, and a matter of fact, I might be able to bring it up. Because I'm telling you, now this right here, I can tell you this much. Let's just say people been talking. I'm gonna put it like that. But let's just go to this right here. Oh wait, I don't know if I put that up on the screen. I clearly didn't. All right, I'm gonna take y'all. Let's make it big. So let's look at his stats right now in terms of this. And a guy who's had to play behind all these other people, right? And we come down to, where's my snap? If you want to do snap, all right, right here. He got 47% of the snaps in 2020. Played in 13 games. 13 games. So you may be saying, well, what's wrong with that? Okay, well, let's take a look at 2020. Let's take a look at 2020. Let's come on down here. Oh, wait, you know what? I needed to click the other thing. Damn it, here we go. All right. So let's take a look at 2020. Now, he gets 47% of the snaps on offense. If I were to go to the starters and look at theirs, you got Adrian Peterson, right? Now, I bet you if you look at Adrian Peterson's snaps, you're going to tell me he's not grossly underutilized and not being utilized right? Let's get down to his snaps. Where is he at? Come on. It's all the way down here. Right here. It's a guy you picked up off the street. 30% of the snaps right here. Right? 30% of the snaps. He took 313 plays away from DeAndre Swift. Right? Started 10 games. So, and this is where it gets real beautiful. I want to say it was Adrian Peterson who advocated for Swift to start. And when they said that he was going to start, he said, well, I always thought he should have started. And so they finally tried to give him more touches. And the guy who started 4 games, 398 snaps, in comparison to Adrian Peterson's 313, and he started 10, how was he getting 10 starts and getting more utilization in 10 starts than we got out of a guy who you decided later in the year to utilize? It didn't make sense. Like you had Swift on special teams and everything, bro. Look at this. Why is he doing this? A guy you took 2nd overall. Why? That's garbage, bro. You turned the good running back into Theo Reddick, and it's disgusting. Just saying.
Okay, I figured I'd look into this as well. All-purpose yardage, because I saw the amount of yards Swift has receiving. Swift is currently every pass catcher, anyone who can catch passes or run in the NFL is on this list. Swift is currently 15th in all-purpose yardage and 984. I think they're utilizing him well.
Do you?
Yeah, because he has more yards right now than Nick Chubb.
Yeah, you know why? You know why? Because they're not asking Nick Chubb to take passes. They're telling him to run it down your throat and punish people. They're not asking him to take a bunch of damn passes. Why would they? He's meant to be just that. I'm going to run it at you. Why am I going to ask him to take passes? Like I said, we treat DeAndre Swift like Theo Reddick. That's garbage.
No, we treat him like Christian McCaffrey.
The hell
I was thinking.
do?
I was gonna say Christian McCaffrey. I was thinking Christian McCaffrey too.
Yeah, Christian
the
McCaffrey.
Hell we do. I don't think one bit that we treat him like Christian McCaffrey. Go and look at Christian McCaffrey's numbers before he got hurt. At one full season. Go and look at it. You know you can show your screen too. Again, William, all you gotta do is click the share.
Oh, yeah, I'm pulling up. Well, man.
I'm just putting it out there for you. Because for me, I'm seeing Theo Reddick. What's going on, Chrome? I'm seeing Theo Reddick. I'm just putting it out there. Like this, and this is good conversation because I know it's gonna be some talk. Like everybody want me to talk draft, it's not gonna happen. But I'm telling you right now, it's not. Bro, what's the point? Before we even get to the draft, bro, we got a whole free agency to get through. We got at least 5 months before the draft, bro. I'm not gonna spend 5 months before the draft.
You know they're not gonna do nothing in free agency.
Who
nothing noteworthy. The Lions.
I think you might be surprised. They're gonna have a little bit of money.
What do you think we're gonna do free agency?
Who wants to come play here?
A lot of people. I think people like the atmosphere, and I think the word has got out about Dan Campbell. George Kittle even said that, hey, I respect what he's doing. A lot of players have spoken on Dan Campbell. I'm just,
I do believe that, but I don't think next year is the year where they do a whole bunch of free agency. Like, they're not going to do. I think what they're doing free agency is going to be filler. You know what I mean? Like the Tyrell Williams type of signings. I can see a whole lot of that.
I could see us re-signing, not Will Harris, our other guy. Why am I blanking? Our free safety.
Did you find Christian McCaffrey's numbers yet?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. What did you hit the share button?
One moment.
And when you hit the share button, I'll bring it on the screen, and you can control it.
All right.
Look at. All right, there we go.
Move that
all right. So let's look at Christian McCaffrey. Tell me how he's being utilized the same, and don't go all the way back to the earlier part of his stuff. Go to the last couple years.
Yes, it's 2019 because
okay.
Last year he was hurt, and this year he's been banged up.
All right, so this is the last time he had a full season?
Last time he had a full season.
Okay. All right. I mean, hell, even he getting 20-something carries a game. This is ridiculous.
But if you look at his snap share count, he is taking damn near every. I mean, he's averaging probably 90% of offensive snaps.
Yeah, go on down. Go to his snap count. You can see the actual numbers. It's not like you even got a guesstimate.
Mm-hmm.
You can just go back and see his actual. Go back and see his actual snap count percentages. You're going to see that he's utilized way more, and it's one of the reasons why I'm not saying that they're using Swift like that. Just look.
He's 93%.
Okay, now show me that. Now we already know Swift ain't being used that much.
Okay, but what happened after those two seasons? 91%, 93%. Hurt 3 games in, hurt 7 games in.
Yeah, but even in 3 games, he was on 77% of the snaps. It's still higher than Swift's. What do you mean? He played 3 games and he got 171 total snaps. I bet you if you're going to look at his carries that them 3 games, they probably damn near the same as Swift. Because I'm telling you, they don't use Swift like this. First of all, shout out to that background in the back. That's a very nice background. But we're going to leave that alone. But I'm just saying, you have to be able to see that they're not utilizing them the same. And it sucks. It just sucks.
Now, I did not say, to be very clear, I did not say they utilize him in the same way. I said they would use him. Like, he is not theoretic reserve down for third down work solely. Well, that is not what, because that's all theoretic was in. Major passing downs, that's basically where he was.
If you look at
this scenario, DeAndre Swift isn't just being used on passing downs.
But he is. Go and look at his earlier parts of the game. They're not using him. They're not. And when they ran him to death, they really weren't throwing the ball as much. That's not using him like Christian McCaffrey. That's theoretic-ish. You throwing the ball to him because you got to pass it down. That's trash. And half the time they be missing it. I'm just putting it out there. That's all I'm saying. I'm just putting it out there. Now,
my thing on those passing downs, when he does get targets for passing, he averages more than he does when he runs it.
He averaged. You say he averaged more what?
He averages more when he catches the ball than when he runs it, and that's primarily checkdowns.
Yeah, because they're using them like theoretic. Like it's not. It's DeAndre Swift. He's going to make you miss, bro.
But
Like
if
But
if he's gonna make you miss, then why use him in a different way? Why run him up the middle?
Because
why run him up the middle?
You know why?
There's like 8 people there. If we can't throw downfield, there's 8 people in the box. You can't run against that.
Greg gonna answer this one for you. Watch this, Greg. How long was Matthew Stafford here? Greg, did I lose you? Greg.
Yep.
Okay, did I lose you?
Can you?
I can hear you.
Can you?
I can hear you now.
There we go.
How long was Matthew Stafford here?
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. You break it up on me, Greg. No.
12 years.
12 years. All right. And in those 12 years, how many times would you say we were a rushing team? How many seasons?
Never.
All right, let's go back.
Never, from what I can think. I mean,
let's go back before Stafford, though, Greg. Before Stafford and after Barry, when have we been a rushing team, Greg? Tell me.
I want to say never. I can't even remember the running backs in between Barry Sanders and Javid Best.
So once you and they was I'm gonna get started on Javid Best, but we're gonna get going. So once we go from the Barry Sanders era all the way past the Matthew Stafford era, we were one-dimensional, right?
Okay, but what was our offensive line and our running back situation the entire Stafford era?
They had Javid Best, bro, and they really didn't run him. They had Kevin Jones, really didn't run him. You know who they did run? Kevin Smith. Oh yeah, that was something special. That was real special.
Kevin Smith, I forgot about him.
Bruh, you had a playoff game with Joyke Bell, and you gave the ball to Zach Zenner majority of the time. Okay.
And then they had Reggie Bush too.
Don't get me started, bro. Don't get me. You feel like y'all trying to have me cuss, and I'm trying to keep my religion. I'm trying to keep the religion, but y'all want me cursing. I'm just pointing out to you that the reason you run him is because we've never had a run game. Now we got a run game and can't pass. And so what teams do now is they come up and they play the run, and I dare you to throw it. That's the difference. That's why you run them. That's why you need to run them. It's necessary. Because that's when you get your best opportunity to get stuff done. And that's all I'm pointing out. The best parts of our team is running the ball, and right now it's defense. And if you look at the history, most teams have won running the ball and playing defense. It's when a quarterback can't sustain drives when he's been asked to throw the ball a few times, and he thinks even though it's 1st and 10, a 4-yard pass is gravy. That's not going to work, bro. It's just not. And that's my problem with it all. That's my issue with all of it. And that's why I just simply look at it and I say it can't stand. And this is why I pointed out.
I mean, to me,
and are you blaming this on Campbell?
I'm blaming that last game on Campbell, but in terms of Campbell overall, I can't blame him because if you look at how the turn of events went down, it's an odd thing. Now I will blame this. I will blame this part on Campbell. If the voice of your running back coach is louder than the voice of your coordinator, then you should have made your running back coach the coordinator. Because I don't like that now all of a sudden everybody wants to point the finger and blame Anthony Lynn. Now that's what everybody wants to do now. He's the scapegoat. But the reality is this. They were missing opportunities before that because they weren't even starting the right players. That does fall on the head coach and making sure that you put the best players on the field. There was nobody on this green earth who watched a preseason game or went to a practice and walked away and said Tim Boyles outperformed David Blau. Nobody said that.
So I think an interesting fact with the Deuce Staley thing is he is also the assistant head coach. So he actually might be around Dan Campbell more and almost whispering in his ear. So that might be what's influencing him away from.
But it shouldn't though. If you're the, I think it's two things influencing him. Dan Campbell right now, in my opinion. I think the media and the fans' reaction is influencing him because he claims he's not watching that stuff, but he knows it's chatter. Well, how do you know it's chatter if you're not watching it? See what I'm saying? People be talking double-sided, but I be looking like, well, wait a minute, help it make sense. If you're not watching for it, how do you know what's going on? And my attitude to it is this: the play calling is looking the way it is because instead of him just doing what's unpopular and saying we're gonna run this thing because that's the best part of our offense, he's trying to appease the fan base and take shots down the field. And guess what? One of them worked because because the run game the 2 weeks prior was so good, you had to respect it. Now we can run the ball, but guess what? We can't pass it. And the reality is this: the play calling is showing that that's the problem. The quarterback play is not up to par like it's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? You just asking him not to make mistakes. Hell, the Washington football team quarterback is doing a better job than Jared Goff. And
that blew everybody mind.
Man, how?
What? Tell Heineke was going to do good this year.
Yeah, but how?
He wasn't last year.
He wasn't supposed to be a starter for real. But how? Because
I never saw that coming.
No, I didn't either. Ain't nobody got Tyler Heineke on their fantasy team. Stop lying. He's not even a backup.
No, they
that
don't.
Dude,
I just don't play fantasy.
Well, I'm just saying I don't need him. But ain't nobody got him on their fantasy team. I'm just pointing it out. And all I'm saying is at the end of the day, when you look at this team, the problem that many people want to point out, they want to blame the head coach for a lot of this. But y'all already should know this was coming when I kept screaming to y'all, fire Patricia after the first season. Because that team was closer to being better down the road than where Campbell just took over. When Matt Patricia said that, oh, I had a lot of work when I came in here, everybody lost their mind and wanted to set him on fire because everybody knew that he was full of crap.
It was a bold-faced lie.
It was a lie. And then when you go through and you look at Dan Campbell, he had a lot of work. He had a lot of work. He still do because he had to deal with people who didn't even want to be here for him. They wanted to be here for Matt Patricia. That's why you seen people like Collins lollygagging because he knew if he got cut, he was going to go to the Patriots. He always knew that. He stayed talking to Matt Patricia and Bill Belichick. So he already knew all I got to do is show a little lack of effort, they'll cut me. And that's what happened. But when I say something about this, I get told I'm crazy. When I say we should not be trading for Everson Griffin, I get told it's a good trade. Okay. I'm just pointing out to you that each one of these incidents occurred, pardon me, in a certain order, and for that reason, I just can't blame the head coach yet. I can't.
The head coach needs at least 2.5 years to fuck up, in my opinion.
I ain't gonna give him that long. Because in my opinion, I seen the first reason why I'm okay with him now is because my young guys that I never thought I would even see touch the field unless they was on special teams and we were going to commercial break are performing. They are. They're just performing. You put
Will talking like Bobby Price, Derek Barnes.
Yeah, them people perform.
Yeah, I like them. I like them a lot.
I think Will Harris gave up about five or six catches. One was like a 53-yarder, but that's because our cover one safety didn't do his job and protect him. But the other passes he caught were all less than 10 yards and maybe gave up 50 yards.
And they're performing. And if you give the credit to Aaron Glenn, fine. But there's a guy who brought Aaron Glenn in here. So give the credit to him too. And keep in mind, when Frank Ragnar went down, I went up. There go our run game. Where did Evan Brown come from? Where did this happen?
That's Brad Holmes.
Where did this dude come from? We ain't missed a beat. Like Frank Ragnar ain't been here. We ain't missed a beat, bro. So I'm just saying, I still give them credit because I see that they're still fighting. I don't even know how they still fighting at 0-10 and 1. They still fighting. Now,
because they know.
Go ahead.
I think they know a win. They know a win is coming. I'm trying to figure out where. I thought they would have had a chance to beat Minnesota, but without Swift, it's not looking as good. But I think they got at least. I think they got another. I think they got a win in them, like a straight up win, not a tie.
Yeah, they got a win in them. I really do believe that they got a win in them. Also, Dr. Detroit says, man, he says he appreciated me doing this. I really wanted to come on here and have fun, man. The news of that school shooting really upset me and ticked me off. So I had to talk about it. So, but man, I appreciate you for being here. Even if you agree or disagree, man, it's always fun to have that conversation. As you see with William, he came prepared, but I think he might want to get some more notes because I don't think he really understands that we're not utilizing our best weapons. I mean, you look at TJ Hawkinson. Like I know they're like, oh, he's getting covered. Not that damn much. Like it's no way. No way.
It's one thing to criticize the utilization of running backs because we can hand them the ball, but if Goff ain't throwing Hawkinson the ball, then you can't really blame a coach because Hawkinson is open a lot of the time.
My attitude is this. I remember Antonio Gates, right? I remember Antonio Gates. I'm gonna just name a few people off, like Heath Miller, and what is his name? Even Rob Gronkowski does it. I'll put him in there. And I know you're probably thinking like, oh, what is he finna say here? These are all guys I believe that if you just threw the ball in their vicinity as a jump ball, they can get it. And when you're waiting for him to be completely open, yeah, I'm losing faith in you. You know what I mean? Like I'm losing faith in you. But for me, I could be wrong. For me, this team is headed in the right direction. You know, and on top of them heading in the right direction, they have to start utilizing their best weapons. Period. 100% hands down, you have to utilize your best weapons. Because the play calling, in my opinion, ain't so much the problem. Because early on in the games with Anthony Lynn, I'm telling you, even the commentators, and I was at the game against the 49ers, I can hear the commentator spirit like, yeah, people are open, bro. Throw the ball. And it's not happening. It's not happening. Like, there's a clip out right now. Baker Mayfield staring down 2 tight ends. He just won't pull the trigger. They're like, bro, what the hell is you waiting on? So it says, what do you do if you are Dan Campbell? Get a new offensive coordinator or get a new quarterback?
Both.
You got to do both. And honestly, if I had to pick between one or the other, it's the offensive coordinator because, in my opinion, you're not doing your coordinator no favors if you're not allowing him to call the game. You see what I'm saying? You got to give him a chance.
You can wait a year to get a new quarterback.
Right.
He'll eventually replace them both.
You have to wait a year now.
So that's all I'm pointing out, man.
You got to wait a year to get another. I mean, the quarterback ain't going to be there.
And that's what I'm saying.
Hey, Luke,
I just don't like how they do
real
it, man.
quick.
What's going on?
So real quick, I want to ask both of y'all this. I know you don't want to talk draft, but we all Michigan people here. I got to ask, Kayvon or Hutch?
Hutchinson. Without a shred of doubt.
What defense are we running? Are we running the same defense we're running now? Hello?
I mean, I don't want to go. I don't want to go what defense. I'm just we trying to put together the best defense we can. Just put it like that.
So just pure talent. George Karlaftis.
Yes.
That's your
George Karlaftis from Purdue.
From Purdue. When I'm gonna just listen.
Purdue?
I'll give y'all this snippet. Aiden Hutchinson is overrated in my opinion. And as much as people want to hype him up, because they do this every year. Every time somebody come out of Michigan, they want him. I don't care who the hell they is.
Oh my God!
Everybody from Michigan is great. Donovan Peoples-Jones is going to be nightmarish. Everybody's going to be great. Everybody's going to. Yeah, I mean, no matter who comes out of Michigan, they're all amazing, and I'm exhausted. With it. I'm exhausted with it. When you get to asking questions, people can't tell me who in the hell does Aiden Hutchinson compare to. When you look at Aiden Hutchinson's career, not one game. When you look at his entire career, who does he compare to? You want to tell me who? You want to tell me he a TJ Watt? No. That's
what they keep saying, TJ Watt.
Not even close.
But I don't see it. I don't see it.
Not even close, bro. Not even close. He's not. And if you're looking at it. Says Luke is a Wolverine hater. I'm not. I rooted for Wolverines against Ohio State. I'm just saying. look, John Johnson. I told y'all Luke is wrong 80% of the time. I told y'all the same thing about Greedy Williams. I told y'all the same thing about Montez Sweat. Montez Sweat was such ineffective early on that they kept going to get people. Hutchinson reminds me of Joey Bosa. Oh, what?
Yeah, that's a stretch.
What?
I mean, I feel like
Steve-O,
I don't know, man.
No, in regards to how he hustles, sure.
That's not what makes Joey Bosa Bosa. Go watch Joey Bosa's hands.
Joey's a technician.
Joey Bosa looks like Floyd Mayweather with them hands. I'm telling you, them boys be all over the place. That's what made him special. You're not gonna tell me Aiden Hutchinson got them hands, man. We're not gonna play them games. Come on now. He don't got the game. He don't got that.
And you know what?
I'm not. No.
I've been saying that like it's taken Aiden Hutchinson 4 years to do what Kayvon did in 3. Like they got similar. They got almost the same amount of sacks, similar amount of tackles, but Kayvon only played 3 seasons. This is Hutchinson 4th season.
And Kayvon's problem for me is he seemed to think that he could run around everybody. It's not gonna work in the NFL. Going as Chase Young. Ron Rivera chewed him out for taking plays off. I told y'all he take off plays too much. Y'all, man, you crazy, bro. You crazy. Yeah, the head coach had to come in the media and chew him a new one because he said his lack of effort is not what they drafted. He could have left that at school. So a lot of times when I say stuff, go ahead.
I think the difference is Kayvon. I think that's something that can be worked on with him, and I think he seems like he would be more open to it. Chase Young is an ego man, and he a superstar, so he's gonna do what he's gonna do. It's gonna take him to get chewed out 6 or 7 times before he maybe decides to change up what it is that he's doing. And plus, he finna skip a whole season, so I think Kayvon is a little bit more. He seems like he's a little bit more open to being coached.
Again, if he can learn how to use his hands better, I'm cool. But to me, when I watch, y'all gotta understand, my favorite player on the D line was Warren Sapp and Reggie White. And the reason I was so in love with both of them is because they wasn't the fastest, they wasn't the most powerful. They got damn hand work and they moves was it was not human. Warren Sapp will literally come up and bull rush you and have you thinking and do it 2 times back to back, and then on the 3rd play he'll soft rush you, right? And now all of a sudden on the next drive you feel like he's finna bull rush, and he'll swim move you, he'll rip, he'll spin, like he doing it all. Reggie White do the same thing. Come up, keep outside containment. You think, oh, he ain't finna do nothing. Then he clubbed the hell out of you. This is just skills. And when I look at players, I'm looking for those type of skills. The same thing I do when I look at safeties. I look for certain type of traits. The same thing I do when I look at any position. It's the little stuff. I don't care about the big stuff. Because the big stuff is also contributed to having a good team, a.k.a. Jeff Okudah. That front 7 was so good, he looked like he was going to be a great pick. Never was. And like I said, only one person wanted Justin Herbert, and that was Micro Mike. Everybody else was like, nah, Tua. And I'm like, yeah, you better not take that guy.
No, I wasn't feeling Tua. I mean, I thought Tua would be good, but I was scared of Tua with all of the injuries that he had. But
the one aspect of getting Tua that I would have minded was or getting Herbert would be like trade value. So we take Tua. Now that forces the Miami. Now we give them Tua. Now we get their 5 and their second first rounder. So almost as like we take him as a hostage. And if not, then we could have set him. But
like I said, if it came down to these 3 people, as the question is right here posted to me from Cap Ice Code, I would take Karlaftis because I think you get more done with him. Karlaftis reminds me so much of Dante Hightower, it scares me. He plays the run, he can rush the passer, he's stout, you can stand him up, you can put him in the dirt. He's Dante Hightower. Sorry. He's a good player. So,
I mean,
2-minute mark.
Karlaftis.
I'm gonna let y'all get y'all final thoughts in, y'all final words, and then we go to final thoughts. All right.
Okay.
You up first, Greg. Get your final thoughts in, your final words, and then I go to your final thoughts.
Man, first off, I want to say rest in peace to Jim Bordeaux, man. That was crazy to hear about that. So
100%, man.
yeah, I couldn't believe that when I heard it, especially because I was watching the show and like right before that they were saying that my man I can't think of his name right now.
You talking about Curt?
Got a host.
Curt.
Yeah, Curt. He had a basically like a full blown conversation with him, if I'm not mistaken, man. So prayers to him and his family, prayers to the family, But I mean, I know you hate talking about it, Luke, but at this point, I can't wait to the draft. I'm a Lions fan. Some years that's just all we got to look forward to is the draft, man.
Hey,
We
that's
got
our
the
Super
draft
Bowl.
coming up, baby. Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
listen, I tell you what, I'll make this promise. By week 15, I'll start talking draft. Because by that time, I believe the deadline for declaring for most of those players come up around that area, if I'm not mistaken. So once I'm pretty sure who's in the draft, I'll talk more draft.
Okay, cool.
100%. What are your final thoughts for the people? I know you gave. He said, yeah, Chris. Jim passed away on Friday morning, the day after Thanksgiving. So he's no longer with us. We did a tribute show on Lions on the Prowl. You can check that out. It's been tribute shows all across a lot of different platforms, and so it sucks. But what are your final thoughts for the people? I know you gave out some prayers and some well wishes and stuff. So what are your other final thoughts before I go over to my man William?
Oh, no, I was just that was pretty much it. My final thoughts, man. I think I might slide down to Greektown and place that bet. I think I want to bet on the Lions to beat Minnesota. So I think I might go do that. But other than that, if y'all want to bet with me,
Man, if you don't catch up
be a good bet.
If you don't catch up to the rest of the world and download the damn app, you gonna slide down there? What you gonna go down there for? You can just go to the
It's
app.
that I like my bets in person, man. When it comes to sports, I like my bets in person.
Okay,
exactly.
Okay, listen. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but
Appreciate you for rocking
me.
with me, Greg, man. 100%, man. I always see you pop in there, and as soon as I say something crazy, you quick to correct me. And when I say something that you agree with, you like, yo, I can rock with that. So I appreciate you, man, 100%.
All right,
William,
appreciate
give me your
man.
final thoughts, bro. Give me your final thoughts. What you got for the people?
Hey, I'm always happy if this is the type of stuff I get heated about, because that means if this is what I'm getting upset and mad about, then I really got nothing else to worry about in life.
Listen, this boy 2020 and 2021 for me can kick rocks, bro. I'm saying, but it is what it is. I've always prided myself on being able to move forward, and so that's just the reality.
2020 and 2021 have been some of the best years for me.
Well, listen, if it's been good for you, then shout out to you, man. But especially 2020, one of my friends lost his 5-year-old daughter to this stupid stuff, and then my brother passed away. My best friend committed suicide. Then Jim passed. Then now you get to school. I'm just over it. Yeah. I'm over it. But you know me, ladies and gentlemen, that's the show for today. I will be back at it tomorrow. Hopefully they don't hit me no OT. Please don't hit me no OT. I can't take it no more. And talking some more football. I was just trying to get caught up on today. Got a little sidetracked, but I enjoyed the organic part of the conversation. I cannot end the show unless I end it on a positive note, because it's the only way to do it. Today is going to be a little bit different. This one's going to come straight from me because, as I said before, 3 people lost their lives today. 8 people hurt, and multiple people fighting for their lives in a senseless act of shootings. And it shouldn't have happened. It's no reason for it to happen. But just understand something. The only thing promising tomorrow is time. It's not for you. You need to take the time today to tell those people closer to you, I love you. If it's somebody you've been beefing with for a long period of time and you ain't talked to, pick up the phone call and just be like, hey, you want to get something to eat? Oh, I'm just checking in on you. Oh, I just want to let you know I love you. Just the smallest gesture, man, makes a big difference. Do not get caught up in this, I'm not manly enough, or I ain't finna be crying and all this. That's for the birds. Be open in your emotion. Tell somebody how you feel, because chances is you may never, ever get a chance to tell them. And so if you don't do it today and you're not promised tomorrow, Make sure that what you need to say for tomorrow and years to come was said today. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that's my show for today. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, don't be no chump. Please do y'all research. We are